Like and subscribe right now, or else this will be in your bed tonight. r/ask Reddit by Planet Reddit. What is one thing you regret about your teenage years? The amount of time I spent caring about what others thought of me. I wish I cared a little more about what people thought of me. All through high school, I lived in my little own world with my friends. As soon as I started to branch out and care about what others thought of me, I started taking better care of myself. I got into shape, took care of my skin, and started a few hobbies in college to make myself cooler, which ultimately led to becoming true lifelong passions. Caring about what others thought led to self-care and confidence. Everything's good now, but I could have had a few more years of this in high school. A perspective that people usually don't have the balls to say. Nice. I'm glad someone finally said it like this. This was a major turning point in my life. Except it was with fashion. I never really cared what I wore. I figured a person's character was more important and couldn't be deciphered through fashion choices. And I'm not supposed to care what people think of me anyway. Why bother getting nice clothes or ever dressing up? Right? Brown pants and a hoodie daily. When I started caring a little more about my outfit, I found making friends was easier. It's like a little code that shows you live a specific lifestyle, or that you understand the social norms of your peers. It helps with girls, helps with friends, and ultimately I am dressing up for me still. It's not about others, but I dress up because it helps me fit in. Not involving myself more. I never went on school trips. I didn't go to prom. I skipped anything extra and a lot of what was mandatory. It carried into my adult life, and it seems obvious to say, but I guess I'd be a different person now if I had been then. I'd waited my whole life for my senior year of high school. All the trips, dances, activities. I dreamed of going places with my friends and having fun and doing things I had too much anxiety to do before. My mom pulled me out of high school permanently within the last few months of my junior year and held me hostage in my house until I turned 18 for her own selfish reasons. I missed everything. Do you mind if I ask what those selfish reasons were? Oh, not at all. The main reason was because of a boy and her intense hatred towards him. I dated said boy when I was 15. And for the next 3 years she wreaked havoc on my life to keep me from him, even though we had broken up when I was 15. And blamed him for ruining my relationship with her. I told her many times that no, she ruined the relationship by destroying my mental health via me having no privacy at all. Feeling anxious when she was home, she could snap at any moment. Never knowing if I could keep someone or something in my life for long because she always got rid of things that went against her beliefs. Telling everyone I was a rape victim as justification for not letting me leave the house, etc. She thinks it is his fault that I hate her, so she took me out of school permanently, 2 years after this issue began, to get me away from him, which in turn damaged my friendships and GPA. When I told her she was ruining everything for me, she said I would thank her later. Still not grateful, Mayo. I spent so much time waiting for something to happen. Like sitting on some steps outside of a house waiting for something to happen. Hanging out with people I did not really like waiting for something to happen. I feel like so much time was wasted waiting for something to happen, instead of doing something or making things happen. Good answer, but damn. I did this till my mid-20s. All my friends were the same way. Content to do next to nothing. We had each other, and it was actually pretty great. But I was lonely. I could be in a room full of my best friends and feel incredibly lonely. Now, I agree with the thought that you shouldn't feel obligated to be in a couple, that you should be happy with yourself, that you don't need a romantic relationship to be happy. But that was what was missing in my life, and what I wanted to change about it. I started asking my friends for referrals, which was tough because most of them were single guys just like me, who went to a sausage fest college. We just didn't know many women at all. Anyway, 5 years, 2 fairly crazy relationships, and a lot of bad online matchmaking dates. I finally got a referral that ended up working out. I'm now happily married with 2 kids. To anyone reading, it's worth it. Reaching out, expanding your boundaries. It's hard. I'm glossing over years of depression, setbacks, and heartache, but I'm glossing over it because I can. It's nothing compared to how happy I've become. It was agony to go through it, but it's nothing now. Well, not nothing. I appreciate my life now because of the things I went through. My point is, it's worth it. Oh god, I relate incredibly, and yes, it sucks. Pink Floyd's Time sums that up pretty well. I didn't take care of my teeth very well. I had to pay a stupid amount of money to get them fixed. Underrated comment. And it's not just the money, it's the many hours spent on that torture chair. And the pain leading up to it, and after it. Treat your teeth like they're worth a fortune or you'll end up paying a fortune. That I never confessed my feelings for this girl until our late 20s. But the story has a happy ending, right? Yep, together for 12 years, married for 5, still the only one I ever loved, colon. Congratulations, very happy for you and just a very cute outcome. Getting fat, not socializing, in or out of school, I'm now 25, fat and struggle to talk to people. Edit. I just want to thank everyone who has been commenting here. It really means a lot to me. It's okay bro. It's never too late to build social skills. Just take baby steps and do one small thing that makes you uncomfortable every day. Like small talk with someone in line at the coffee shop or complimenting the guy's tattoo at the cash register. It may be awkward at first, but before you know it you'll be a lot more comfortable in social situations. That's actually pretty good advice. Thanks. I've also started playing D&D, which is kinda jumping in the deep end, but it definitely helps. Our DM gets us to roleplay what we say to intimidate, persuade people, so I'm getting a lot of practice with that. Hey yeah, that's awesome. Social anxiety is a BCH because our brains literally make us think our lives are threatened when you're doing something relatively basic like ordering a sandwich at Subway. Believe me, I've been there. But you just have to realize that you're not gonna die if you stumble or stutter. We all do it, and that it is possible to get better. Good luck. I was bad at taking hints. Flirting can be subtle. There have been several occasions when people have flirted with me, and I only know this because people have told me afterwards. I am usually pretty good at reading social cues, but when it comes to flirting I just mistake it for friendliness. Makes me curious about if there were any other occasions that I also didn't notice. I'm only 17 though, so hopefully I can learn to notice it better soon. It's funny cause usually I am the very opposite of this. I usually take everything as flirting, and can't tell if it's only a friendly approach or something more. I'm this way too, and I hate it. Not being organized in school. I was smart but lazy. I didn't like schedules and didn't bother with deadlines. These all added up and haunted me in university. Still comes back in adulthood. Having good habits and routines really help. This to a T. If I had a routine and stuck to it, my grades would have been consistently better and I wouldn't have hated myself when I pulled several all-nighters a semester to finish papers I could have worked on throughout the semester. Same here. I wished someone had warned me about being smart but lazy, but I just experienced this. Finished freshman year of college last week, and this last quarter with the remote learning has been a shitshow for me. The whole year has been a struggle learning to manage classes that are actually hard and require work, but I feel like I can do better next year. Hopefully it's not all online. Not paying attention in school. I was a massive goof and only started paying attention when it was too late. As a result, my dream job may be just out of my reach. Study hard, kids. Your dream job may depend on it. Edit. Dream job is to be a pilot. Good message. Hear lots about schooling not being the be all or end all, but this shows that you shouldn't let opportunities like that pass by. Keep working, my man. You can still get it. Colon. I see it like this. You're in school for a reason. It's your time you're in there, so you might as well make the most of it. Find friends. Find hobbies and study hard. I understand that certain subjects may not be relevant to what you want to do, but sometimes life happens. Your dream job changes and it doesn't hurt to have those qualifications, but it does hurt to not have them. In regards to my dream job, there is an age limit I'm quickly approaching and I still have a lot to get done, but I'm trying. Cheers though, D. So true. I always told myself that I would forget it in a few years, so why even learn it? Turns out that's not really true. And even if it were, it would still help me to have graduated from a better university. If you're reading this and still in school, please try your hardest not to make the same mistake I did. Starting to smoke. Started when I was 12. I'm extremely nicotine addicted now. Wish I never started to smoke. I know I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but after 17 years I quit smoking. I made a bunch of attempts, but this last time it stuck and I'm almost at a year with no nicotine. Edit. This is the easiest $3,000 I've ever saved. Congratulations and good job. Letting everyone take advantage of me. I was a spineless kid. I feel this one. I'm too much of a people pleaser. It sucked. The good thing is that I've hardened up after dealing with too much BS. Stressing over what is not even my situation. I've become more aware, but sometimes I still don't realize it until my boyfriend points it out. Same here. You are not alone. Sorry for that. Kids can be as manipulative and cruel as adults. When I was 16, I dated a guy who was 24. I knew then it was fairly creepy, but when I think about it now, I seriously cringe. Thankfully I had enough brains to not have sex with him. Good thing you stopped it. I had a friend who was in the same spot as you were and it was hard for her to even talk about it. I started dating a 25-year-old dude at age 14. He left his wife for me. I posted a ton of age can't stop love memes on MySpace. We got engaged. It was so weird because he also wanted me to date kids my age so didn't miss out. I also would have boyfriends or girlfriends my age and think it was totally normal to not tell them about my real relationship. I left him when I was 16 because I honestly was outgrowing him. I'm 27 now and look back at that time with just astonishment. I was the only child of a single mother just raging with alcoholism, and some prick disillusioned himself into thinking he was helping me when really he was just taking advantage of an abused and neglected child. If I met him again in public I would have quite a few choice words. OMG, I did this in high school. 2. It was that whole thing where he's like, "You're so mature for your age," and everything. Looking back on that years later, I was like, whoa, he was really gross. I should have gotten in shape. Would have been so goddamn easy back then. It was much harder when I was 29. If you're in shape now, but once in high school, you can always brag that you still fit in all of your high school clothes. Exactly. I was super fit in high school and now I have no chance in fitting in those clothes ever again. Saying no when invited to parties or any kind of social gathering. So many opportunities missed. You guys were getting invited to parties? Same. All I really did was study. As looking back, I feel like I missed out on teen years being a carefree time and having such important friendships. Giving up something I loved, writing, so I could dedicate more time to studies. While I did manage to achieve excellent grades, I really wish it didn't come at the expense of putting a stop to writing and creating fictional worlds. I thought I'd always stay passionate about writing, and that I could jump right back into it once I was done with school. But I realized too late that it isn't that easy, because I hadn't been writing for so long. It just isn't the same anymore. No matter how much I try, that spark and magic just isn't there anymore. It's just sad to think about what I lost. Mine's about the same, though I'm unsure if this was actually in my teens or when I was 20. I used to write like crazy. Then I decided to submit something to be published. I got rejected. It was just a standard form letter, but I took it way too personally and decided I wasn't going to write again. Years later, my younger son, 8 at the time, told me that he's writing a book. I was inspired by my son and decided to work on a short story. That exploded into a novel and then expanded into a trilogy in progress. I self-published the first book 4 years ago and have been writing various pieces ever since. Still, I wonder what tales I could have come up with had I not spent 2 decades not writing. I have 2 recommendations for this. If you want to try writing some more, just try writing a 3-sentence story. Pick a small prompt, like a 1-word prompt, and write 3 sentences about it. Those sentences can be as short or long as you like. One of my writing professors, I was a journalism major, told us that the reason behind writing block has an underlying issue. So if you have the time or money or ability, therapy might actually help unblock you. This happened to me with reading. I was a total bookworm through elementary and middle school. But then I got busy in high school. Homework, extracurriculars, work, and I just didn't have the time or energy to devote to it anymore. Now I'm in college trying to get back into it by rereading some old favorites, and I'm sad to find how short my attention span is. I used to read whole books in a night. All these top comments sound like you all are nice people who just would have liked to have a bit more fun and self-expressiveness. I feel more out of place now that I look at my biggest regret. Man, my regret is just being so mean. It was not all the time though. It was just targeted to some people and only when I was feeling overwhelmed with social things. Instead of telling them that I wanted some alone time or something like that that is adult sounding, I just yelled hurtful insults at them to make them go away. I know I made one girl cry. I felt bad immediately, which just fueled my confused social emotions and made it harder for me to reconcile things with her later. I feel like I left a wake of destruction in my past. At least you now recognize what you did wrong in the past and you will hopefully not make the same mistake. Plus, maybe talking to those you hurt in the past could help. Join our community Discord, link in description. Not putting myself out there enough. Getting pregnant. BF was Catholic and couldn't break the birth control rule. Apparently the premarital sex rule was okay to break. I should have insisted. But you know, young, dumb, won't happen to me and all of that. You still together? Not the person you asked, but I'll jump in as mine is similar. I got pregnant at 18. Had a kid, who is almost 13. Stayed with the dad and married him in 2015. We are still together and are currently expecting in August. We definitely love each other, but it's something that has waxed and waned over the last 15ish years. We are definitely stronger for it, and I could never imagine being with anyone else but him. However, it has been tough going. I went to college and worked through internships whilst also having a proper paying job on top. I've put my own wants on the back burner for him to have the career he wanted, and TBH, that's fine. That's life, right? If I had my time over again, I would not have had my first. But I love them all the same and certainly would never tell them that. That's on me, not them. I will love number 2 exactly as I love number 1. Also, the pill failed me in case anyone wondered. Glad it all worked out. Most decisions were made from fear. I dated her because I was afraid no one else would like me. I let my friends tease me because I was scared of not fitting in. I didn't audition for certain groups because I was scared of not getting in, etc. Sometimes I wish I could take a time machine back and slap myself in the face and yell, "Fucking try anyway." Oh well. Hope you're applying that mindset to future things. The day I turned 18, I was able to gamble at the local casinos. I won a jackpot playing poker and then lost $18,000, almost all of it, within 6 months. Pretty sure the only thing I actually bought was an Xbox One. Haven't gambled for 6 years. Still cringe when I think about it. You got a really important lesson taught for essentially $0. Yep, that is the way I look at it. The experience led me to be sympathetic towards other forms of addiction. And also a free Xbox. I only ate about 10 onions a day. Those are rookie numbers. Cooked or raw? Raw for that decadent crunch. Not being more confident. Also, I don't regret playing video games as it was one of the most enjoyable times of my life. I just regret not doing other things as well. When decisions was made to stay home to play games or go out, been there. Just the fact that I didn't appreciate my time as a teenager enough. You only get to be a teenager once and I feel like I really took my teenage years for granted. Being a teenager was definitely less depressing and stressful than being a mid-20s guy right now. Dude, wait till you're in your early 50s, like me. You'd be best off appreciating every decade you're in because it's a never-ending cycle. I miss my 20s but realize I'll be missing my 50s when I'm in my 80s, if I make it that far. Take delight in the present regardless of how depressing stressful it seems. Working though them. I never had that carefree kid teenage time. I grew up on a poor farm, then moved into an apartment with my mom. She couldn't hold a job so I worked. I had fun, I had friends, we did stuff. But I also had to budget rent, electric bill, car payment, phone bills. Plus I went to school. figure out how to squeeze $25 into 2 weeks worth of groceries. Went without because we had to. It's always going to be that way. Unless I win the lottery, I'll never get to know that feeling. How are you doing now? Decent. Wife. House. Job. Staying in the closet. I could have had a lot more fun. Oof. Same. Interestingly, the homophobic people I was afraid would judge me are all allies now, so it may not have even been as bad as I thought. Not standing up to some of the people that were mean to me for no reason. I didn't make very many friends in high school. I had, like, my one best friend, and a few other girls I was on friendly enough terms with to eat lunch but never saw after school. But that was it. Years later, I went to my reunion and realized they were all lovely people who I'd be friends with today if we still lived near each other. I now live out of the country, and the issue at the time was with me, not with them. Shy isn't the right word for what I was then. I talk quite a lot, but withdrawn definitely is applicable. It never occurred to me, for example, to actually invite someone to go do something. Never told anyone at school who I wanted to know better. Hey, want to hang out at the mall and go catch a movie, for example. Now of course I know that was silly, and it's not a huge shocker that I never got invites if I never extended them myself. But that just wasn't my thought process at the time. I grew since then, and I'm nowhere as withdrawn as I was, and I have enough friends to make me happy. But I am jealous when I see my brother and sister with all their friends from high school who they're still in touch with. Because one important detail about friendship you don't realize as a teenager is how wonderful older friends are who remember you and your life from different periods. My brother and sister have this in spades, and I just don't. Same. I see everyone I went to high school with have all of these fun shared memories that I'm not part of, and that's kinda sad. I regret caring as much as I did, always caring about how others viewed me, my friends, teachers, family, etc. I spent so much time worrying about how people perceived things that I said or did, whether they might take offense if I say I didn't want to do something, etc., that I forgot to ever really consider how I felt in all of it. Having sex with Sherry. She gave me crabs and they are a BCH to get rid of. Sherry is a E. The part between 12 and 20 years old. Not being more outgoing and showing more of a personality. The biggest screw up was being content with my group of guy friends and not actually trying to make any female friends. I'm speaking specifically about high school. It's been 7 years since I've graduated and I've only made like one female friend since then. Met in college but we're no longer friends now. It's crazy how much the dynamic changes with girls in the group. From conversations to where you hang out, etc. I would love if there was some sort of app that lets you connect with the opposite sex purely for friendship. I hate how Bumble has a friends option, but that's only for the same sex. That's sad, and I'm sure a lot of people regret the same thing. It's not just the dynamics and the places you go to that change. It's also the relationship that you have with girls for the rest of your life. I am a girl, and have had a pretty decent amount of male friends. And learning that in the end we are not that different, and that the relationship ends up being like one of the same sex, is one of the best things someone can learn. Especially for sexual romantic relationships in the future. I hate it when some guys think that we are just like aliens. That they can't understand us and that just a friendship is not viable. No, you dumbers. We are basically the same as you, but you don't take the time to see us as an equal. Or at least as someone similar to your boyfriends. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for 3 videos a day.